Phasor diagrams, the graphical language of AC circuits. Phasor diagrams are a shortcut for understanding alternating current circuits without getting lost in time domain waves. Instead of watching sine waves move left to right, we freeze the action and represent each wave as a rotating arrow. The length of the arrow represents magnitude, and the angle represents timing. Once you learn this picture language, series and parallel AC problems become much easier to reason about. In AC circuits, timing is everything. In direct current circuits, adding values is straightforward because things don't continuously shift in time. In AC circuits, voltage and current are waves. If two waves are out of sync, their peaks don't line up, and the result depends on when they arrive. That's the key reason phasors exist. They let us capture timing differences in a clean geometric way. The phasor is a freeze frame. A phasor is a freeze frame of a sine wave at a specific moment in the cycle. Picture a rotating arrow that sweeps around a circle. That rotation represents time. The arrow's length is the amplitude, and the arrow's angle is the phase. When we write a phasor value, we describe it as magnitude at angle, like 5 at 30 degrees. That one phrase encodes both size and timing. The grammar of vectors, addition, tip to tail. Phasor math is vector math. To add phasors, we don't add the numbers directly. We place the tail of the next vector at the tip of the previous one, tip to tail, and then draw the resultant from the origin to the final tip. The key insight is that we're taking a journey, and the resultant is the straight line displacement from start to finish. Don't subtract, rotate, then add. Subtraction is easier if we convert it into addition. If you want a minus b, you add a to negative b. Graphically, negative b is simply b rotated by 180 degrees. Once b is flipped, you stack vectors tip to tail like normal, and the geometry becomes simple and visual instead of confusing. Series networks, the voltage story. In series circuits, the current is the same through each component, but the voltages can be out of phase. That means the total voltage is not simple arithmetic addition. In series AC networks, voltages add as phasors, vector addition. The diagram shows individual voltage vectors at their own angles, and the total voltage is the resultant. Case study, series RLC circuit. In a series resistor-inductor-capacitor circuit, each component's voltage behaves differently relative to current. The resistor voltage is in phase with current. The inductor voltage leads current. The capacitor voltage lags current. When we add these voltages as vectors, the resultant tells us the total supply voltage and the overall phase relationship. The angle of the resultant tells us whether the circuit looks net inductive or net capacitive. Parallel networks, the current story. In parallel circuits, the voltage is the same across each branch, but the branch currents can be out of phase. So in parallel AC networks, the currents add vectorially. Each branch current has its own angle, and the total current is the phasor sum. This is why a parallel circuit can draw more total current than you expect if you only add magnitudes. Case study, parallel RLC circuit. In this parallel example, each branch current points in a direction that reflects its phase relative to the source voltage. The resistive branch current is aligned with voltage. The inductive branch current lags. The capacitive branch current leads. When you add them as vectors, you get the total current. And the direction of that total current tells you whether the entire network is acting net inductive or net capacitive. The map is not the territory. A common mistake is confusing schematic arrows with phasor arrows. A schematic arrow usually shows polarity or assumed direction of current at an instant. It helps you decide plus and minus signs in equations. A phasor arrow is different. It represents phase angle in time. Rule of thumb: use the schematic to determine sine, and use the phasor diagram to determine geometry and timing. Leading versus lagging. Leading and lagging are timing words. A phasor that arrives first is leading. A phasor that arrives later is lagging. A good memory aid is this. In a capacitor, current leads voltage. In an inductor, voltage leads current. The important point is not memorizing it blindly, It's recognizing that capacitors and inductors shift timing in opposite directions. Math tools. Rectangular versus polar. There are two common ways to describe phasors: rectangular form and polar form. Rectangular form uses a real part and an imaginary part, and it's convenient for addition and subtraction on a calculator. Polar form uses magnitude and angle, and it's perfect for understanding and visualizing what's happening. A strong habit is, do the arithmetic with the calculator, but always sanity check the result with a sketch. Pictures catch mistakes that pure numbers can hide. Diagnostic reasoning. Find the mistake. This slide is a great lesson in troubleshooting with phasors. Sometimes the math output says one thing, but the picture makes it obviously impossible. If one vector is purely horizontal and another points down and right, the resultant cannot end up pointing straight up. When the calculation contradicts geometry, trust the geometry and check your signs, angles, or reference direction. Summary and best practices. Here are the habits that make phasors useful instead of confusing. First, remember that Kirchhoff's laws still apply. But in AC you must sum vectors, not just magnitudes. Second, use tip-to-tail addition as your default method. Third, verify visually. Calculators are precise, but they are blind. The phasor diagram is your sanity check. Credits and thanks. This episode is based on open educational material from the Modular Electronics Learning Project. Huge thanks to Tony Kupalt and the open source community for making high-quality technical education freely available. Their work helps students and technicians everywhere build real understanding.